Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between. I am your host, James J, featuring Kaliko Yachts, who is here but not on the show at this moment. He's taking a break. He'll be on a little later. Mitch Mayhem, who is on another Roppongi Bender. And hey, somebody that is actually here, Scooter Dust.
Well, well, trying to think of a clever line, but I'm just gonna say
The draft was enough of a punchline?
no. I was gonna say something. It's basically, yeah. Rest in peace, Teddy Van Halen, a true legend of rock, gone. And 2020 just gets worse and worse.
Pre-order your "This is the worst year I've ever lived in" shirt today. Well, it was a bad day for rock and roll fans, but it's a great day for wrestling. And yesterday was the 2020 WWE draft. Um, Interesting to say the least. No, Scooter?
Oh, without a doubt, wow. It's been strange. I don't even half of it you wouldn't even really call a draft. Um I'm talking before the show, I did make a mistake. SmackDown keeps Otis. Not
Okay.
the other one. Not but you know, it the idea of drafting people that are already on your show without explicitly stating that they have to be drafted in order to remain on the show.
It made sense
Plus,
when they redid everything
yeah,
twice.
yeah.
I mean,
Plus,
yeah,
I mean the fact that, and by the way, Naomi's going to Raw.
yeah, I have everybody that was drafted.
But the fact that you have draft pools in specific, group in specific numbers means there is nothing random to it. That they know exactly every move, and any wrestling fan that has at least half a brain can deduce that there's no not a single ounce of randomization to it.
Right.
And that's the biggest selling point of the draft, to think that anybody from any brand could move and it would be shocking. And so far, only a few picks have really been shocking. I mean, the New Day, Kofi and Xavier returning, and Xavier wrestling for the first time in a very long time. And now the New Day, seven-time tag team champions, or is it 8?
I think it's 7. That sounds
Yeah,
right. They're up there.
I think that now makes them second to Edge and Christian.
Wasn't Edge and Christian 13 time?
Yeah, they were in the early to mid teens. But yeah, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions go to Raw, and Big E stays on SmackDown.
And that could
Kind
be
of,
the biggest, deal because Big E could finally be a main event superstar in that position.
and I honestly don't see why they couldn't have done it the reverse. Big E go to Raw and keep the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Like it doesn't make sense tonight. And we still have one day and another show to go, and possibly draft picks happening on Talking Smack.
That was a that happened before.
Um, yeah, because they said the draft continues, but you know, I don't know. But Lars Sullivan is still employed,
I mean, what
which
rock did they pull him from?
5-star Lars.
In the Tokyo
But
Dome?
he would probably like to be in some guy from Tokyo's Dome, but um,
Let Let's get into it. First,
I'd rather have Dave Sullivan than Lars Sullivan.
I'd rather no, I wouldn't want Kevin Sullivan. Uh, Drafted to Raw round one was Drew McIntyre. Big surprise there. Oscar and the Hurt Business. All three originally on Raw, so nothing changes there. And then on SmackDown is Roman Reigns. Obviously, he's the Universal Champion, and Seth Rollins. I'm really glad that maybe Seth is now off Raw because it gives him a new, fresh coat of paint at this point, with kind of getting stale. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, yeah. This almost was expected to a degree. Seth has done everything possible on Raw.
Just about. Second wave of drafting. Monday Night Raw. We have AJ Styles, which is not surprising considering his issues with Paul Heyman. Naomi, which actually might not be a bad pick for her, and Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax.
And you realize that 4 women picked before the actual SmackDown Women's Champion at that point. So if you're Bailey at that point, you gotta be feeling like, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And the second draft, the second wave of drafting for SmackDown, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. I mean, Sasha is fighting Bailey, so and she got preference over the actual champion.
Mm, yep, and yeah, I brought this up uh, last week, but now it's uh, going to stay the same. The possibility of Sasha or Bailey going to Raw one thing on SmackDown, and then just making it Hell in a Cell without the title being on the line. Well, now, as of last night, it is now officially for the title um, inside Hell in a Cell.
Well, we kind of saw that coming.
Yeah.
Uh, third wave of drafting for Raw, we got Ricochet, Mandy Rose, and Miz and John Morrison. And Miz has been a ping pong ball of WWE. He just keeps going back and forward, Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown,
Um,
every single draft.
uh, I believe you left out the Hurt Business
No, I
in
said
that first. You
no. I
did,
mentioned
okay,
them in the first. Yeah,
okay. Uh, yeah, Raw keeps the United States champion. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just
do you think the Miz is maybe not as valued as maybe he should be?
I mean, I mean, he's coming up on 15 years,
Right.
and I mean, aside from actually, no, I probably would call The Miz the WWE's most how do I describe this active connection to to outside entertainment avenues.
Right.
His reality show, that game show
When you have
on
a
USA.
press junket, the Miz is the guy to call.
Yeah. Yep.
Drafted to SmackDown with Dre, Jay Uso, Dominic, and Rey Mysterio. Uh, it's kind of weird that they lumped Dominic with Rey because they're not a tag team. But it is good to see Rey Mysterio back on, his brand.
I mean, I remember that episode of SmackDown where Mysterio first arrived, climbed up the cage, dove onto the Un-Americans.
That was a good one.
Too.
It's in, what I find a little interesting here. Jay Uso solo, no Jimmy with him, just solely drafted.
Well, I mean, I guess you can infer one of two things, that either Jimmy wants to go solo also eventually, or Jimmy's injury may be career ending.
I don't. That really suck if that's the fact. I don't necessarily think it is. I mean, how many times have we thought somebody's career was ended? Especially in the case of Ember Moon, who came back earlier this week.
Yes, very, very true.
He's drafted to Raw on the fourth wave, or round four as they would call it, I suppose. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, as you alluded to earlier. Dana Brooks and Angel Garza. Brooks and Garza were already a part of Raw, so nothing changes. And then drafted to SmackDown, Biggie and Otis. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. For the most part, Raw, Raw and SmackDown stay the same, save for getting the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Uh, Save for Raw getting the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and AJ Styles, and SmackDown getting Seth Rollins and the Mysterio family. Those are literally the only significant uh, picks. But it's also they're saving probably some big, and I use that term quite sarcastically here, picks for Monday, which again, you know, goes back to that whole idea of, it was SmackDown that was becoming the A show, and now it's back to being the B show.
When I always find it funny, they always called SmackDown the B show. As long as it was the B show, it was always really the A show because they would definitely give the better performance on SmackDown. From
Yes.
what? Uh, let's make a thing of it and say 2002 when the first draft happened to 2009, maybe 10.
I mean, the draft stopped being serious somewhere around 2006.
No,
Quite honestly,
I disagree with that.
uh,
I think the draft really suffered the most when they called it the Superstar Shakeup.
yeah.
So I see the biggest gift for SmackDown being Seth Rollins, and for Raw AJ Styles, because I
Yeah.
really want to see AJ Styles wrestle Drew McIntyre. In secondary, there might be something there. In the
Well,
long run,
you, you also have to remember that, uh, prior to WrestleMania, AJ was on Raw,
he was.
and they got traded for Dolph Ziggler.
This is correct.
Um, so
I see the dark horse picks being The Miz for Monday Night Raw and Big E for SmackDown. I don't know why, but that's kind of where my head is headed in this point. What about you, Scooter?
uh, I I I honestly, mm, I mean, I'm really I'm really hoping they split Miz and Morrison finally gets that main event push. I mean, but I mean, Morrison at this point. I mean, neither Miz or Morrison will ever be world champion. And then again, but at this point, it's wait and see, and
I mean, Morrison was never a champion to begin with.
yeah,
It'll be
when
interesting to see how
yeah.
it plays out. And we still have one more day of drafting on Monday. Um, and nobody from NXT was drafted, so that'll be
Yep, they are not
interesting.
included, and they are not included apparently.
We will can. Oh, and another thing that happened this week in the news. Mustafa Ali was revealed as the leader of Retribution.
A good move. The WWE did not forget about, that hacker, so to speak. And and we all speculated that it was going to be Mustafa Ali, and then Mustafa Ali just returns like normal until we basically forget about it. And then, the thing is, though, is that every member of Retribution is bigger than Mustafa Ali.
But doesn't that make it a better aesthetic? That, he has these big men looking over his shoulder. I mean, he's easy to get to. You just have to go through the two big son of a bitches. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, also with the fact that when Retribution losing Mercedes Martinez,
I believe her name was Shadow.
Shadow,
Shadow.
Shatter,
Shadow.
Shimmer, uh, WSU, whatever. Interestingly enough, I did work with Mercedes for some WSU title matches. Back in 2010.
Well, I hope you stayed on her good side.
Well, when I'm the person that's got to get a message to the referee to tell them to wrap up their match because they went more than 5 minutes, yeah, you don't want to be in Mercedes Martinez's way when she's angry.
Maybe get out of the building before she does.
Yeah. I mean, and considering the fact that, there was no women's locker room, so, yeah.
Well,
Moving on.
that'll conclude our news for this time.